A whole month has gone by since I dropped part 1 of talking to a dolphin that lives in the Bermuda Triangle. So today I'm going to film part 2, and this is your reminder right now that if you are a judgmental person, if you are not open-minded, this is not the series for you. You can go now. Goodbye. This is a psychic reading, and all of the information that I'm going to discuss is 100% alleged. Nothing is proven. It all comes from visions, feelings, inner knowings, things in my mind's eye. So this is 100% for entertainment purposes only. Part 2 took a while for me to film because what I saw and the visuals that I was given, and when I stepped into remote viewing, the information and the things that I was seeing were really hard for me to see. And not only hard for me to see, hard for me to understand. As I was watching them happen in my mind's eye, I was thinking, oh my gosh, how am I gonna even articulate what I'm seeing right now? Because I don't even know what this is, but I have a little bit of an understanding, and doom. I just felt doom. Everything that they were showing me and where they took me, I just felt doom. Once I entered a trance state through my meditation, I met with the original female dolphin that I was working with. And she, as soon as she saw me, it was like, oh, great, you're here. And she took off. And so she was under the water, and I was kind of floating above the water, and we were parallel to each other, going really, really, really fast. We were traveling. And I just felt, I was wondering, what is the urgency? Do you know what I mean? Once we reached our destination, she came to a very abrupt halt and invited me down into the water. I went down into the water and we were face to face. As soon as I got down into the water and I got a good look at her, that was the first time that I actually questioned how old she was, because she just looked frail and like she had no energy. And she looked old, okay? She looked aged. And I was looking at her, and all of a sudden, all of the sea life around us was just going crazy. They were acting sporadic. They were going really fast, zooming. I could sense, even though that environment is not familiar to me, I could sense that energetically this was not normal. And this was why she brought me here. So we're watching all of these fish just totally acting crazy, zooming around in zigzagging patterns, and just nothing looks natural about it. And suddenly I get this urge to look up. So I look up, I'm in the water, I'm looking up, and there's a boat above me. And so I look back at my friend, and then I start looking around, and I'm noticing that there are these little metal balls being dropped into the ocean off this boat, and they're altering the frequency. It's like they're releasing a sound that I can't hear, but I can tell that all of the sea life around me can hear this. That was very concerning. So I told the dolphin, I said, let me go see if I can remote view on this boat and see if I can hear anything that these people are saying. And I went up onto the boat, and it just sounded like two men enjoying their workday. They were just whistling, walking around, not even talking to each other, but obviously doing something that felt a little bit sinister. It felt off. It just became very apparent to me that something really fishy was going on, and I did not want to be involved in that. So I went back to my friend, and I started to ask her questions. You know, I started to ask if she knew about what was happening, what was going on, and she wasn't answering me. She wasn't saying anything at all. And it was really out of character because she was kind of an oversharer before. So I just felt, again, reassurance that what I was experiencing was a little bit dark. So looking around, I can see that these, metal balls, whatever they are making everything around go crazy. But it seems like the only ones not affected by it are the adult dolphins. The baby dolphins were really affected by it. And I started to notice that they were all swimming in a similar pattern, swimming away. And there was nothing that any of the moms could do to make those babies come back to them. At this point, this was when I started to feel really icky about what I was seeing and feeling like I just was not prepared to share this with social media. But it only got worse from there. And if you are one of my followers, then if you're familiar with my content at all, then you know that I don't really like to do fear-mongering, and I don't actually like to push heavy topics like this, because I just don't want it to be the basis of my work, of what I do as a channeler. So it was really a difficult fork in the road, but little did I know. And again, I'm not fear-mongering, but it truly did only get worse from here. I started to follow the trail of where the baby dolphins were going, and eventually it led me to more remote viewing, and I ended up in a lab, and these dolphins were being scientifically manipulated, allegedly, of course. So I ended up in an all-white lab with, I'm not sure if they were the same two men, but now I'm kind of getting a feeling that these were the same two men that were on the boat. And they were experimenting on the dolphins. The dolphins were on an operating table, and there they were. They were being operated on, allegedly. The strangest part that took me a while to realize was that the dolphins were not in water. The dolphins were alive and on an operating table, and as I looked around, I saw two other dolphins that were in what looked like dog kennels, not in the water. So I don't want to talk too much about what else I saw in there because I don't want to get any of my videos flagged, but I will say that when I went back to talk to the other dolphin that initially led me here, she was aware of what was going on. So they are aware of what is happening because we also have to remember that these are very intelligent species, and just because a baby dolphin is being taken and snatched and off in a lab or off in an aquarium somewhere doesn't mean that they're not still communicating with their mother. Again, we talked about that in part 1. So this was really, really, really difficult for me to see. And every time that I went into meditation looking for new information, they always took me back to this topic and reminded me that it's really important for me to share this today. So that's why I'm doing it. So the hardest part is done. And I have bounced this off of a few of my clients, friends, and family, and the response has all been the same, which is shock. I'm anticipating similar for whatever app you're watching this on. Knowing that's a hard pill to swallow, I thought I would finish off with some of the lighter, more airy and cool information that they shared with me and told me that I could only share this information if I got through what I just talked about. So I'm happy I have permission finally to share something lighter. I do have to save some for part 3. I can't tell you everything today, but they brought up Christopher Columbus, and we started talking about how he was a traveler. And they were so excited to share with me because they were shocked that us humans didn't know this as just common knowledge. But Christopher Columbus had help from the dolphins while he traveled the seas. So that was so cool. And they were more than happy to let me share that with you today. But as for the rest, we will come back with a part 3, and I hope I'm going to make a promise, actually. I promise it won't be a month from now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and we will catch you next time.